All right, guys, we are here with Spencer Claeys. Spencer, would you give everyone a brief breakdown of what you do, what you help people with, where you were before meeting us, and then where we're at now?
Yeah. So my name's Spencer Claeys. I run like a home service business. So, roof and gutter cleaning out here in the Pacific Northwest. And so I help other guys, start their own business doing that or, running ads, scaling up their business. And so, yeah, before, with the business and stuff, making 10, 15, 20K a month. But now it's like, we're hitting 40, 50K months and such. So things are going good.
Oh yeah, man.
Yes.
We've been going for what, like 2.5 months?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 2.5 months. That's awesome, man. Um, I guess the first thing to touch on is ever since coming across our content or just in general, what's the one part of like the whole, business machine, whether it be like sales, your offer, content, marketing, funnels, does not matter what it is. What would you say is like the number one piece that's like upgraded the most?
Yeah, I would just say my funnel is a lot more tight. Like my content is a lot more tight. Um, yeah, it's a cool distinction. I mean, I would just say just getting a lot better at marketing, which is like I would say your guys' strong suit as well, and it's one of mine as well. Like I think yeah, like we talked about on the call earlier, like just getting really good at getting leads, like getting as many fucking leads as you need. It's like impossible to lose in business. So if you get really good at getting more people to come interact with your business, like it's impossible to fail.
And actually, I would say almost it's I think the biggest thing that the entire time period that we've been working on with you specifically is more like maximizing, like lead maximization, not even like generating more leads, but like getting more out of the leads. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Or
efficiency.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, definitely like because yeah, I already had traffic and stuff before, but yeah, not really like knowing how to help people, not really knowing how to speak to them, and then, but eventually, yeah, like once you kind of like, yeah, once you do enough sales calls, once you talk to enough people, like you kind of are able to start dialing your offer and figuring out exactly what people want. So that's a huge part of it.
so just so
Yeah.
people that are watching have like a little bit of context, can you give us like almost a 1 or 2 minute version of, let's say when a client comes in the door or like deal closes, what typically do you run them through, just so people that are watching have context?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as like that, the main business, like, well, I mean, as far as like the coaching business and stuff,
Yeah, the coaching business.
like we do. So typically, most people that want to work and want help with me and such, typically they've already started running ads on their own. They've tried for about a week or two and it's not working. They're not quite sure, what to do. And so then that's when they come to me. And so I usually take a look at their ads. We make sure we beef up
What
their
what
whole,
type of businesses? Just so like 100% clarity.
yeah, like home service type
Okay,
businesses. So like roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, pressure washing. We
gotcha.
got
Okay.
solar panel cleaning, all that sort of stuff. So yeah. And yeah, because I mean that's a really great example of a business that like the work itself is really easy. Like no
Mhm.
one is having trouble cleaning windows. Like it's easy to do, but it's like getting the leads is like the lifeblood of your business. So, especially for young guys like us, we want to have our own thing, be free, like make money. And so yeah, getting leads is a huge part of that. So we really dial that in. We need to make sure your foundation is on point. So your Facebook page, I also help people with like their Google, their website SEO. So getting up, first page of Google, as I'm sure you guys are aware, if you're the first person that types in for mobile car detailing, like you're gonna make a lot more money. So I do like a full audit of their business and then make sure that, okay, here's like what is lacking. Like you guys are only getting, you only have 3 keywords on your website, or your ads are getting leads for like $50 a lead when it should be like $10 a lead. So stuff like that.
For sure. Um, okay, so yeah, like lead maximization being the biggest thing. What was like the biggest, I guess you could almost say like mentality change around what caused the maximization to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I remember you said sometime like or two, I think it was one of the articles you posted like in the training was like, to be the type of person that's making like 6 figures a month, like you needed to have taken hundreds of sales calls and spoken to hundreds of people. And so, I mean, just, yeah, really getting familiar with like what people wanted. And then also like charging enough to like help them. Cause like I remember like last year I was charging like nothing to like just do like a one-on-one consultation call. And I thought that's what people wanted. I was like, oh, it's not that much money. But then it was like when it came down to it, people wanted so much more help. So in a sense, it actually was like harming them, like just doing
Mhm.
one call with them, because they were able to like kind of get a little bit of sauce, but then they didn't know how to implement it, right? So now it's like, okay, now you need 3 months with me or 6 months with me or however long. I need to be able to like show you what else is going on. Also, we have like 100 people now in our group, so if you're struggling with some problem, like chances are someone else is too. So like we have a lot of people like all around the country like linking up, like talking, like sharing ideas, and it's really good having a community too. Like you guys have really helped like show how to like foster that sort of community as well.
Yeah, 100%. I remember a big thing for you too was like really like protecting your time and protecting your program. And this is a more of a sophisticated problem that obviously comes, once revenue starts creeping up past 10, 20 a month. But really like being careful with who you let in your program, but also like how you let them in. Right.
Yeah,
I remember you were letting people squeak by with like little $250 deposits and they get
yeah,
access to everything. And then now it's like, nah, bro. You want to kind of elaborate
yeah.
on making that change?
Yeah, and it's not helpful to them either. It's like you got a huge part of business is being a leader, being accountable. And so like if I'm letting people not be accountable for themselves, like then it's like they're just gonna not be accountable in their own business. They're gonna squeak by in their business and stuff too. They're not invested at all. Like if you give someone $250, you're not really invested versus like 2,000, 3,000, $5,000. Like if you pay someone that much money, you're gonna listen to what they do, what they say. And so yeah, and I just see the correlations with their own business. Like if they don't do it, if they don't listen to what I'm saying, like, and then their own business is gonna like it sucks as well too. So everything correlates.
Yeah, it's so funny to me how like what anyone starting a business, the natural inclination of thinking is like, oh, if I charge less, I get more customers.
Yeah,
What really ends up happening is that the more you charge, just because of the flywheel effect of when you charge more, you get better customers, and you make more profit that you can reinvest in getting people better results, whether it's through like hiring or whatever it may be. And because you can get people better results because they're one more committed and you can reinvest, it means that people get better results, which means more marketing materials for you, which increases people's trust and like how quickly they close on deals. So it just becomes like a cyclical effect where by charging more, you not only get more customers faster, but you also make more profit per customer.
yeah. I think I heard Hormozy say that somewhere too. He's like, you owe it to your customers to charge to get them to spend as much as you can. So the more because you're like by definition they're more invested into the idea, into the system, and into actually
Correct.
implementing it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
and
100%. Especially with coaching too, when it's like strict coaching offers where it's at the end of the day, a lot of it is on them. Like obviously with the right system in place, um, building the car, but they still have to sit in the driver's seat and drive it, right? Like you can only do so much. So yeah, the more skin in the game they have, it just makes for a healthier business.
yeah, because it's as you guys know too, it's like nothing's really that hard, and like you guys have said before, like everything works. Like nothing's that hard. Like if you run any sort of like take my business for example, like exterior cleaning. Like if you run an exterior cleaning company, I guarantee if you're not making the money you want to, I guarantee you're just not making enough offers. You don't have enough ads going out. You're not getting enough eyeballs on your business. But so if you fix that, it's not really that hard. So usually people just need a few tweaks, like a few tweaks to their ads, to their website, and then boom, they're off to the races. Like, oh my god, like this is fucking awesome. And then they're freaking out, and then it's just like, yeah, very
Yeah,
simple.
it's one of the interesting things about the whole thing of like coaching and even consulting whatever is that by definition, by nature, it always feels very like airy and vague and amalgamous. Like what do these people do all day? But when you're knocking ideas around with people that have seen this situation like hundreds of times,
Yeah,
it's very, especially people who are like really smart and have seen the situation like hundreds of times, they just have a better feeling on like every single thing that's going to happen just by changing one little tweak. So like in your case, like I would guarantee that guys will come in occasionally and be like, oh, why should I even like want this or need this? And it's like, buddy,
yeah,
you're closing like one deal a week, bro. Like, I think you need more. You need me more than I need you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And yeah, and it's gotten to the point too where it's like, yeah, it's almost like ninja like levels where I feel like, I've obviously, all of us have invested it so much into our own like knowledge and learning stuff. So like literally some of my guys will come onto a call and they'll be halfway finished with this, barely even halfway finished with a sentence. I'm like, oh yeah, here's exactly what you need to do.
Yep.
Like I can see exactly what you're doing wrong. I know
Yep.
I've heard it 100 fucking times. So yeah, no, those people don't really know, like, they haven't spent the time investing into themselves. So it's like, but yeah, no, it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got you've probably got a big season coming up, yeah, because Christmas lights.
Yeah, we got Christmas lights, so we're doing like a 30K and like 30 days challenge. So
Nice.
should be pretty
Awesome.
solid. We had, yeah, I mean, it's busy right up until like December, and then I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can do, which really it makes me curious. Like there's like, ice dam removal up in like the Midwest, and like you're up in like Canada, Liam. So there's like there's so many different types of businesses people can start too. It's really cool. Like we have people that in my group that do boat detailing. Like that is like their main thing. They just detail boats, and they're like in Idaho, so like next to a lake. It's just like, I mean, it turns out if you clean one boat for like $500, you just do that once a day. Like
Yeah.
you're making six figures. Like it's not that hard too. So it's really crazy. And so if I can help someone just get, 4 more boat cleaning clients, it's like, well, there's 2K right there. It's like, it's even better. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's
Dude,
probably some
so-
wild niches in there too.
yeah, dude. Like there's one of my favorite examples of like a random niche is like dog poop. Like you see them, like they'll have like a nice truck. It's like, hey, we pick up your dog poop. It's like, you laugh, but it's like, that's like, I mean, shit, if you're charging $10, $20 a trip and you're doing like 15, 20 people a day or something, like, yeah, that's a 6-figure business as well. So, I mean, there's so much opportunity for people who, yeah. And then the online is just the natural extension. Cause like, I mean, for me too, like information is so much more scalable, as you guys know, very aware. Like the roof business is awesome. I got 2 full-time guys now, and that's cool. But like, this, I can actually expand, help hundreds of people instead of just like a few people. So
What would you say? Because another thing that we worked on was the sales process, one, making it more efficient and getting you out of it. Can you go into like a little bit of detail on that?
yeah, something that like once I started working with you guys too, and just seeing how like seeing how I like to do things too. Like, everyone has their different strengths and stuff, and I realized, I'm pretty good at sales, but I'm not that great. And I was like, okay, I'd rather just have someone else do this who can be better at it, and they can focus all their energy onto that. Because I'm trying to like steer the ship. I mean, all of us have probably like massive ADHD, and like we're all just like buzzing around all the time, and so that's me. But I'm really good at like managing like 15 different things going
Yeah.
on in one day. Whereas like my guys, and I learned that too. Like as soon as I find someone that like is good at something, like so my guy's like, oh, he's really good at focusing, and he does my operations for the roof cleaning, and then my sales guy, he's really good at sales, and he just focuses on each of their little pieces, and I'm kind of like just like the chef, just trying to like make sure everyone's like doing their jobs, and then it flows so much better because now it's like I have 6 people working with me instead of just me, so a lot better.
Yeah. Because I remember in the beginning, kind of like Leah mentioned earlier, like with the lower ticket sizes, something happens to when you start running high ticket at volume. And I literally, I can see it on like this call, like just in general, there's almost not necessarily like more confidence, but it's just more surety. Just because it's like, yeah, it's $40,000 in the last month. Ripping.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember you guys had said that before we even started. Like I think on the first call, it was like, oh yeah, like if you sell 10 people at $4,000 a month, that's or $4,000, that's 40K in a month. I was like, oh yeah. I mean, we've heard that like 1,000 times, but then it's different when you see other people doing it too. And like that's another reason why like all of us have groups. It's like, okay, well, it's one thing for one of us to be like, oh yeah, here's how you can make a $10,000 sale for roof cleaning. Here's how you make $1,000 in a day. It's like, yeah, that's all well and good, but like we see so much bullshit on the internet. It's like when you actually see some guy doing it, that's like, and you look at that guy, it's like that guy's not better than me. So it's like it's super powerful. Like I mean, humans are pack animals, so the more you can get around, see other people thinking, see them
Yeah.
implementing like stuff that's not that hard, and you're like, fuck, well, I can do that too. Like easy, let's go.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that happens where, because everyone knows it's possible at a baseline, but being in proximity with guys that you talk to on a nearly daily basis, or like you see their messages on a daily basis in like a group chat, and it's like, this guy has less followers than me, and he's like, it's not like he like looks better than me, doesn't, he's not more articulate than me, and it's just like, oh, he's ripping harder than I am, and just scaling way harder, and you're like, okay, now there's actually no excuse. I need to take 1000% responsibility for the situation I'm in, and then it
Yeah.
becomes like, okay, just then execute.
Yeah, and you guys have always been good too about like I can tell your guys' mindset is on point when you say like if I'm like, oh, this is a problem with like my set or something, and you're like, okay, well, what are you doing about it? Like this is your responsibility, it's your fault. And I was like, okay, that's something that I definitely have identified with since the beginning. I think it was like Alex Becker's book, like the 10 Pillars of Wealth. He's like, everything is your fault. And I was like,
Mhm.
I read that so long ago, but like that's just like been ingrained into me now. It's like everything is your fault. Second, people like take responsibility. Okay, yeah, like there's no reason. There's literally no reason anyone watching this is not making $10,000 a month. Like that is like bare minimum. Like I don't even know what I would do if I was making just 10K a month. Like it's just like that's nothing. So you need to upgrade your mindset. Like it's not that hard. Like there's so many people doing it that are not as cool as you, not as jacked or strong or not as cool or whatever. Like whatever it is, they don't have it. I don't know. There's no reason. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shane.
especially
yeah,
yeah,
they don't have chains. So
chains, ton of beards. Especially as you scale up too and get a team under you, that just becomes so much bigger. It's like everything's your fault. I remember we were chatting about that on the call the other week. It was like 2 weeks ago when
yeah,
like fuck man, like I said it, and yeah, we just came to the conclusion like Spencer, bro, it's your fault.
yeah,
Be
no,
better.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's not like putting the fault on someone from like you're an idiot. It's like, hey, like take responsibility for this so you can learn more. Does, like, you know what I mean? Not like, yeah, it's more in like a positive, constructive criticism sense, not just like being a dick.
yeah. I mean that's one reason why I really like fuck with you guys too is like I don't know I've talked about this before on like some of my own videos like guys and girls we have like different like ways that we respond to criticism and stuff. Like I had like a I don't know about you guys, but I had like a pretty overbearing father. Like he would yell at me and tell me what to do. But I respond well to that. Like so I respond when you guys say like, hey, you need to fix this. You need to do this. Whereas like someone who's like maybe a little bit like weaker mentality or even a woman would be a good example. You can't tell them like, hey, you need to fix this. Then you like you need to be a lot more nicer about it. But I like to how like you guys are just straight up like, hey, you need to fix this. It's your fault. Let's get it. So I respond really well to that. So if anyone's watching this, like identifies with that. If you had a good father, good strong father too, and I love my father too. It's like that's not a bad thing. I think men we need to be disciplined. Like that's really important. That's how we like we respond. We have like that's why group sports are really important in sports. So we learn how to interact with people and like take criticism, take coaching really well. So you can tell people who've never been in sports, who've never had like a
Mm-hmm.
coach, and then like they're like they don't respond. They like don't really listen and know what to do. And like
They take it as offense, like
Yeah.
yeah,
with the guard straight up. It's like, oh, why are you attacking me? Blah, blah, blah. Instead of just actually like chilling out, listening, and then just implementing it. And that's kind of why we structured the community the way we have, is because like that's how Vince and I operate, and that's what we found to be the most effective. Obviously, not like fucking yelling at people, but just being
no,
very straight and direct, like cutting through the fluff, because it's what works at the end of the day. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the guys we like to work with too. It's just better.
it's
yeah,
interesting too because the only people that ever do like the guard go straight up, and they just, they don't take they don't take criticism and think about it like just about actually making progress and ascending to whatever achievement, is that beginners actually do have a horrible ego problem. That's like the biggest thing, is like they can't just accept that, like, hey, there's just a lot of stuff that I'm just bad at and I need to get better, and they just stay permanently in the spot they're in
yeah.
because they don't
Yeah,
want to
no,
just
it's
like accept that, hey, this is my responsibility, that I'm in my position, and also I need to like drop the ego. It's like you need a positive ego, not a negative ego. Negative ego being, oh no, like I don't need to learn anything, I got it. No. And positive ego being like, I know I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like literally every single successful person on the entire planet like has someone that's helped them along the way, mentors like coaches and stuff. Like no one's gonna fucking you don't like there are people out there that know more than you. So it's like, okay, well, obviously, like literally there are people that are making $1 million in a day, like right now over in
Yeah.
Dubai selling whatever. So it's like if there are people making $1 million in a day, obviously they know something that we don't or that I don't. So it's like it's okay. It's okay to like ask, like, hey
Mhm.
man, what are you doing? What do you know? It's like that's totally fine. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay to just be like, hey bro, you're doing something and I don't have the competitive advantage. What's the competitive advantage?
Yeah, like one of the guys in my program too, like he's got like several trucks on the road, like they're doing 30, 40K a month with their roof and gutter business. And there was like some SEO concept. He's like, can you explain this to me like I'm five? Like he said that to me. He's like,
Mhm.
grown ass man. I was like, that was actually like one of the best ways like I've been asked a question because it's like if you don't understand something, it's like you don't have to pretend that you know or that
Yeah.
you feel embarrassed that you don't know something because obviously there's shit that everyone here doesn't fucking know. So that's completely
Yeah,
fine. So you just need
I've
to
said that
ask
before
what you
too.
want to
Like,
know.
explain it to me like I'm a golden retriever.
Yeah.
That's good. I use that in ChatGPT sometimes. It's like
Oh
explain
yeah.
like I'm 4 years old.
Yeah, no, it's because yeah, I mean, no, it's wild. Yeah, beginners do have an ego problem, and it's always hilarious because like I mean, you guys see this all the time too. They're like, oh, I did this, I tried this. Like I had one guy, he's like, I spent $20 on my ads and it's not working, it doesn't work. And I was like, bro, you spent 20 fucking dollars on your ads and it
Yeah.
doesn't work. Like no shit. Like who? I've come to me when you spent tens of thousands of dollars on your ads, or come to you like especially well in the program at least you need to spend at least like 50 to 80 before I'd even contemplate like tweaking something like bare minimum. So it's like people just have like they shut down. They don't take criticism.
Yeah, that's another big thing is that, and if you look at like the biggest companies on the planet, you just see like the answer to everything is just volume. Like Apple is a $3 trillion company because Liam, you and I were looking at this. It's like millions of devices a year. Like it makes sense why, or Tesla, like the
Well, I
reason they're
think
so
it was like millions a week, something like
yeah,
that.
it was like millions per month, millions of devices per month, like iPhones, Macs, AirPods, like the whole nine. Or like Elon just moves. I think like the first year that they're putting out the Cybertruck, it's like they're gonna do like 250,000 Cybertrucks in the first year. It's like it's just volume. So like beginners, the problem is they think that yeah, if you one post or just like $100 on ads, it's like really like actually that what?
Yeah, you really need to fall in love with the process. Like, I mean, because even me, we were like TikTok, like used to be really good. Now it's not, but I don't really give a shit. It's about the process of like providing value. Even if only 1,000 people see it, if those 1,000 people got a lot of value, I mean, because yeah, volume is yeah, or the gym is a great example too. It's like you're not going to see any results after one fucking workout. It's after hundreds of workouts or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, people just give up too quickly. They can't see and something I heard a long time ago about running ads specifically is like you need a really good feedback loop. You need to get results really like you need to see like what's working really quick. So, and the second people don't do that, I can see when people are freaking out. It's like, okay, just take a deep breath. Like I've been running ads for 4 years for Facebook, like for your home service businesses, like relax, take a deep breath. It's gonna work. We just gotta tweak these things. Obviously, like yeah, because when people say, "Oh, this doesn't work," it's like, well, obviously there are people doing it right now. I've been doing this for 4 years. Other people have been doing it for however long. It's just like, yeah,
It's the same thing with content too. It's like, oh, uh, content doesn't work. Like
Everything
Instagram,
works.
the algorithm is
Mhm.
against me. I'm shadow banned. It's like, man, you
yeah,
posted six
It's
times.
just yeah, the content isn't good. Like
Yeah,
yeah. And sometimes they will like, I mean, they will just like hold back your account for sure. But it's just like still like you said the other day, it's like you had a video, you thought you were banned, but then you post a video and it goes 500K. So
yeah.
it's like sometimes it just rips, sometimes it doesn't. But who cares? Like it doesn't matter if you still are providing enough value too. And that's like now I'm getting like not as much traffic, but it's like the quality is so much better. So I'd rather
Mhm.
I'd rather get 5,000 good views than 500,000 like trash views because I
Dude,
mean I'm
that's
sure you guys have seen that
another
too.
thing, bro. Beginners always think that they need to have like a quadrillion followers to make money. It's like, no, you just
Yeah,
like
no,
the quality of like what you can do like the things you can pull off with even like 5,000 followers, like people have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that one article. I think Kevin Kelly was like 1,000 true fans. It's like that was a really good article. It's
Yeah.
like if you have 1,000 people that really fuck with you, they give you $100 a year. That's $100K a year. So it's like you don't need that much. You don't need. Yeah, think about the 1,000 people if you're really impacting them, really helping them out. And so then just being genuine with your content, like, yeah, if it blows up, cool. If not, like, and yeah, something you guys said too, like the dumber the content, like the more reach. So it's like, do you really want that much more reach? It's like
Yeah.
more reach is cool, but it's like I don't want a bunch of like retards coming in either. So
Yeah. Literally. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's simpler always usually wins. Like the simplest answer is usually the right answer from what we found. It's like, oh, my ads aren't working. Spend more. My
yeah,
content's not working. Post more.
yeah,
Like it's usually the simplest things that's the rude answer, except for when it comes to like very heavy.
Quality. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
well,
quality thing. Yeah.
yeah, and like size of the business, like when you 30, 40, 50K, that's when it really becomes more like micro niche problems. But under that, it's always just like the simple answers and like Vince was saying, like just volume.
yeah, and just I mean, yeah, just shutting off the ego. I mean, and yeah, because you guys have been spending ads, you've been doing all this stuff for a while. It's just like that's a 5 minute, like a 5 second question to you guys. You guys have seen it happen 1,000 times, so it's like, okay, well, yeah, spend more, but yeah, people can't always see that in the moment. Like you get emotional, so you got to look at it from a logical
Mhm.
perspective too. So
That's
that's
another
what
thing that really helps with like looking at everything numerically is that it causes emotional detachment, which is good. Like you need the emotional detachment. Like, oh, only did 20K this month. Okay, let's look at all the numbers, all the way from the amount of impressions you did to the amount of, profile views. You just like break it down numerically and you're just like, oh, yeah, I made half as much this month because there was like half as many qualitative views. Oh, I'm just a dumbass. That's it. Like, it's not that the platform's against me. I'm just a dumbass.
yeah, yeah, you get caught up in your own bullshit and stuff, and yeah, no, the emotion versus logic. Yeah, you need to. I think that you need to take the autistic look at it. You're like, okay, what is like, how is everything like as a
Yeah.
system and stuff.
Like,
So
yeah, actually.
Then
I
numbers
saw some
literally
like,
solve every problem.
yeah, I saw one like guy. He was like, I think he's like Australian. He trains like UFC fighters or something. He was like talking about like, oh, we need to be a world champion and anything. You need to have the right mix of like autism and steroids. You need to be focused and like he was like dead serious too. Some like UFC fighter. I'll find the video. It's funny, but he was right. I mean, but more so just like being having the like very good like being able to analyze exactly what's going on logically.
Mhm.
So I mean, you guys have been good at that. So
Yeah, it's just clarity, and it's a mix of like clarity and like blunt self-evaluation.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to the thing of like taking responsibility, but like when you're not thinking with emotion, your ego is dropped, you're like actively learning, actively listening to other people, and you're just executing. Like it's very hard
It's hard to
not to
screw
make
up.
progress. It's
yeah,
actually hard to grow.
yeah, and you guys said that too. I think now I think about it like the less emotion in your content. I mean, not this is gonna sound weird. Most people might not understand it, but like you don't want to be too like emotive, like and like some like any big YouTuber you could say it would be like, oh, they're like, oh, like, this is going on, like, but like because then the more like and then the more like sketchy or not sketchy, but like dumber your content or whatever you could say, more emotion, dumber, like whatever, you're gonna get those people in your funnel. It's gonna fuck your business up. So like having just really even keel level good content, speaking exactly to how people like speaking exactly to your ideal customer, like that is really important too. That I learned from you guys too. Like the headline is just really important. Like who fucking knew? Like here's how to if you're a home service business guy not making this or whatever, like that's gonna directly bring in that exact type
Mhm.
of person. So
Yeah,
really
dude.
basic stuff too.
Yeah, it's I feel like being less emotional towards your marketing is really important. Like ads or content, like just being less emotional about the situation at hand helps so much because at the end of the day, it's all just data sets. Like it literally is just all just data sets and numbers at scale. And then you just look backwards and you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense that we did more money this month because it was just more of the kind of video structure that worked and it got more views. Oh, makes sense.
Especially when you change the frame from being attached to inputs instead of outcomes, like post volume instead of view count, right? Like, all those micro things, like switching over just to purely inputs. It's like, okay, yeah, you can get mad at yourself if you didn't do the basic inputs because you have 100% control of those variables, not how many views the video gets necessarily, like directly. So when you just switch over to inputs and only focus on inputs, outcomes usually get 5 to 10x better.
Yeah, exactly. I think I remember listening like Andrew Huberman talk about that. If you can like spike dopamine during those inputs, like if you can spike the dopamine during like the deep work or the gym, like you tell it, I like this, I love this, I love posting content, or I love going to the gym. And then don't even focus on the outcome. Like what is like refreshing your Stripe account really gonna do? Like that's like the outcome. Like that shouldn't even matter. You should have your head down, just like focusing on the work itself, and then the outcome is gonna blindly come fast as soon as you do the right inputs.
What's funny too is that we were talking to Sebastian Batenker the other night about this. Is something happens like right about where you're at? It's like right in the 40-50K a month mark. It actually gets even easier because now there's no scarcity feeling, so you attach even less emotion to it. You could like the next month after doing like a 40, let's say a 40 or a 50, you can make like zero the next month, and you're just like, yeah, I've experienced like the complete upswing and downswing. Now I'm 100% emotionally like you become like you just generate emotional scar tissue where you felt the high highs, high lows, and you just completely dead face. You're like, yeah, it's just because I'm not posting enough. That's why I made zero this month. Oh
Yeah, and that's fine too. If you want to take a break or if you didn't do the right inputs because you're doing something else, like that's totally fine. Just like being okay with that, and then, but it's possible too. You've hit that
yeah,
like
that's what I mean. Is because like when you've done like the full range of like emotion that comes with that, and then you can be objective about like why things didn't happen. You're just like you don't get emotional about it anymore, and it's easier to like get it kicking again because you're not emotional about it anymore. You've already gotten that scar tissue.
Yeah. No, humans they're good about that. You need to The gym is another example that I think about too. Like, if I take a month off of heavy bench press or whatever, for example, but I still know like, okay, like if I wanted to train, I could get back up to like my max or whatever. So it's like whatever. I'm not going to train hard on bench this month. I want to focus on something else. Like that's totally fine too. So
Yeah, we were talking about Sebastian, or talking with Sebastian about it, but like obviously different for you because you're not a fitness coach, but like fitness is still, I see you on the stories every day putting up weight, and we're just saying like even for like us with like business offers,
Street
it's
Fighter
still
2.
such a core pillar. Like people don't get it, but like it makes a big difference, and I'm sure you're obviously have that
Yeah.
same.
Everything is energy, like you realize that too, and you guys have said that too. I mean, anyone who's really successful knows that. So if like your energy is shit, and well, because that's literally what a video is. Like it's like gigabytes of energy into a fucking screen that people are consuming. And so like that's the great part about the internet. We can like infinitely leverage this energy. You can make one video once and 1,000 people could see it. 1,000,000 people could see that same bit of energy. So that's just like so much more scale, so much more leverage that you have on the universe now, which is fucking insane. But yeah, fitness is just is a huge part of that too, like feeling good. And yeah, if you're going out getting blasted every weekend and stuff, it's like you no shit, your energy is going to be off, and then
Yep.
like you can tell what in camera like when your energy is not right. So
Yep.
that's another big part.
Yeah. I want to chat a little bit about like just higher level because I know you've kind of been in this space for a while and have worked with like a lot of people now in the space. Um, Based on like working with us and what you've found, what would you say is the difference between like our approach and some other approaches that you worked with in the past? Obviously, like don't drop any names or anything, but just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some like main perspective shifts and um, differences you've noticed with how we operate.
You guys know it's my favorite topic, so
Yeah.
but No, I mean, well, like obviously, like you guys aren't out there flexing the Lambo every day. Like, yeah, if you're looking at someone and they're just constantly flexing, well, they obviously don't have fucking time. They're not going to actually be coaching you. They're too busy flexing. So if you give them their money, it's like, cool, you just bought them a new Rolls Royce or whatever. They're not actually going to like talk to you, which is, it took me a couple times to learn that. And it was like, now it's like, oh, okay, like don't do that. So like, obviously you guys have like the lifestyle and the stuff that, other people like me look up to and stuff. And like, it's cool, but it's like, you guys aren't out there shoving down people's throats and stuff. And yeah, and like, because you guys actually are spending time like getting your clients results, and that's, I mean, that won't last forever. I mean, everyone has their arc of like, okay, I'm like still grinding, I'm still like, but now eventually, like, you're not going to be able to just get Alex Shimozi on a call. Whereas like if you signed up to Gin Launch like 10 years ago, like I'm sure you could have. So that's just how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lifestyle marketing is interesting because it it works by definition, but for not fantastic reasons.
Yeah, you're getting those dumb people in. Like if you have a bunch of like, yeah, like we talked about earlier, which yeah, you can get money out of people if you post in that. Like, yeah, it works, but like, do you really want to do that? Like, do you really want to have like? Because now it's like, yeah, I had people that I like looked up to, and like I ended up giving them money, and I was like, okay, well, now I don't really like this person at all anymore. I don't really want to like follow them at all. It's like because they really don't really practice what they preach. They're not actually. You can tell when someone's like really about the money, and they don't really care about people. They don't really care about the result, which I mean, you can do that to some extent, but like, I don't know. I also believe that like this world isn't that big. Like, especially here in the States,
Not,
like if you have some sort of coaching offer, like people are gonna find out about like you
bro.
doing
Yeah,
whatever. So,
that's
Mhm.
another thing.
so you
Just
guys
like
know.
the whole like space of people that make money on the internet, especially like bigger people. In all honesty, because you can kind of figure it out by looking at like how many accounts are big on each platform. And I remember seeing something about like Twitter or X is it was like the amount of accounts that have over 1,000 followers is like less than 1 percentage point of every single like user on Twitter. And it's the same for like IG and TikTok. It's like it's the amount of people that are actually like big, and especially the amount of people that monetize, not even just like meme pages or like influencers that don't actually do anything. Like the amount of people that actually conduct business through social media, through their social media accounts, I would venture to say it's probably less than like, let's just say US and Canada, it's probably less than 50,000 people, which means it's very easy to get in contact with like word travels fast if you're a dickhead.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's also just short term too, because you get people in for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And when they're in for the wrong reasons, one, like they're not going to be good clients. And two, when you're out on the yacht 6 days out of the week, like, you're not really going to be fulfilling anyway. So it's just a combination for a very high, low kind of crash and burn. So we're yeah, definitely going to take a different approach. We've actually been talking about this, and I think it's what we're going to do moving forward of actually like capping our higher level program at 100 people.
mm.
So once it gets there, we're basically going to close the doors and then only keep it like waitlisted, literally to always make sure that for a very long time we're getting people like very good fucking results.
Especially culture fit too.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a good idea too. I mean, yeah, I mean, just and then once things get more scaled up, like it does get harder to. We just crossed like 100 people. I think we're about to cross 100 people inside my circle too. But we've kept the quality pretty high, and then yeah, and there's some people you need to kick the fuck out of your group too. Like this just happens. Like same with like roof cleaning. Like if we have dickhead clients, it's like bye. Like that's another part I love about business. You can only work with people you want to. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
found
when you're
that
an
as well.
employee, you're forced to like deal with everyone. But when you're the owner, you can be like, you get on a call with someone and they're being a douche canoe. You can be like, no shot, and just like end
Yeah,
it right there.
yeah. I had some guy reach out to me like 3 times last week. Like he DM'd me. He was like he somehow found my number and was like calling me. He's like, "Can I get your book for free?" And I was like, "No." And I told him that like twice, and then he still booked a call, and I'm just like, I told my sales guy, like, this guy is not allowed in. Like, he's not allowed in. Like, I'll look through like the applications too. Like, because you guys have said that too. It's like it's almost more important who you don't let in. So I'll just like I'll like highlight someone like this person's not allowed in. This person's not allowed in. Like, they're just not a good fit. Like, even I don't care. Like, and like that one guy too who had said like, oh, $20 on ads, it doesn't work. I got him out of the group like that next day. Like, I gave him his money back, or like whatever percentage we had agreed on, and I was like, you're not a good fit. Like, I don't want your money. Like, I literally don't want your stinky money. That's like that
Yeah.
poor mentality. I don't want to touch it. I want to get out. So that's something that it's kind of funny. Like, even like some of the big programs, like, it ties together. Like, they still want your money. They don't really care if you get results or not, or if you're not a fit for the program, which I just don't really agree with. Like, I think you should just be a good person. Just like, if people aren't a fit, that's totally fine. Just give them their money back and get them the fuck out. Like, that's totally fine too.
Yeah. And what happens too is like, especially with massive programs, when they just like keep feeding people in the door and they don't actually like let in like culture fits, like make sure people, yeah, cool, like making money, whatever, but like are actually gonna like be a good vibe with the group. It almost just like slowly rots
Yeah.
away, and people become less engaged. The community becomes a little bit more toxic. People just don't want to be in there, and then it just devalues your offer as a whole. Versus if you have like a tight knit group of like killers who are all friends with each other, like everyone has good connections, good vibes, everyone's helping each other out, and it's like really tight knit. That's what long term makes like a really, really good program.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's your job to be a leader. I mean, you got to lead your guys. Like, me and some of my buddies, we have like a little book club that we just started. The first book was like endurance. Like, I don't know if you guys heard about that. Like, Ernest Shackleton, like, classic. Like, he went down to the Antarctica, and like they didn't lose a single guy. They were like stuck in like the ice for like literally almost like 2 years, like 18 months or something. But like, you had a very tight knit group. As soon as there was even like a hint of like morale, he like addressed it like right away. And so I've taken a lot from that book too. Like, as soon as someone is like, the morale is off, or this person's like, you need to like address that, nip that in the butt right away. And so that's important.
Yeah. Like that's what we're planning. What Leah mentioned earlier is like we're 99% committed to the idea of capping it at just 100 people, and that being it. And then obviously, there's various other ways that we monetize, but having like your prime, because I mean, like your high ticket, like if you want to call it like mastermind offer, whatever it may be, and this applies to everyone, that's your not like passion business. I know that sounds so weird, but more like you're spending a lot of time with those people. Like, you need to make sure it's really qualitative. Like, those are your friends now.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to focus on how do you feel when you're talking to these people and stuff. Like, if you feel like any point like, I don't want to do this, it's like, that's a terrible sign. You should really be fixing that. And that was something that, like, growing this now too, like, I pay attention to that. If I don't like doing something, it's like, okay, I should probably just delegate that, have someone else do that. Like, as a business owner, it sounds like cliche, but yeah, you should only be doing stuff that you at least somewhat enjoy doing. Or, I mean, we talk about inputs, like doing work and stuff. That's different, but like, you should still enjoy what you do. And if you don't, then you're doing something fucking wrong.
I
Because
think it's you should do activities that you can get into flow state doing. That's like
yeah,
the best word for it. Because like sometimes you're not like super hot on things, but if you can get into flow state doing it, that's an activity that you should do. Because there's some CEOs that are just ops guys. They're just not marketing and sales guys. And they can get into flow state with ops and like customer support, whatever it might be. And it's like, no, that's like your thing. And it's okay.
yeah, no, that's a way better way to put it. Yeah, getting to flow state. Yeah, there's some times where you want to beat your head against a wall, but you're still like, okay, I need to get this done. This needs to be done. But yeah, more just dealing with people too, because and then just getting better at dealing with people. Like, that is the business for anything. So
Exactly. That's something like a lot of people I think just completely forget about, like to start coaching, consulting, info ops, because it's like, yeah, cool, it's profitable, it's scalable, but it's like your business is literally people at the end of
Yeah.
the day. It's not like a software or a product where it's like, yeah, here you go. Like, you're in the trenches, like with people every single day. So if you're working with people that are just like sucking your energy, not respecting your time, like it's just it's not going to work in the long term. You're just going to burn yourself out.
Yeah, you need to like something that Dan Kennedy said. You need to like behead and stake like time vampires and like, but also like you need to also just hold people like we talked about earlier, just holding people accountable. Like, okay, like you need to be a leader. You need to figure this problem out yourself. Like I can help you, but I'm not gonna do it for you. I'm not gonna come in and like wipe your ass for you. Like I'm gonna show you what to do and like that. Because if you give someone your text number and like, hey, call me at any time of day, they fucking will.
They
And it's
will.
like that's not good for them. That's not good. That doesn't help them.
Yeah, because then it just becomes a lot of like permission asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not even gonna learn.
That's another really big point. Is like making sure that you're not cultivating a permission asking program. You are cultivating a test it first and fuck it up. Not on purpose, but like just give it your best shot, bro, and we'll do the after action report. Like that's how to like the best way to do it is like you want to be the guy. You don't want to like telling Timmy every single micro step. It's like no. Here's a framework of the best way to do it. Go do it. If it fucks up, don't even worry about it. And I'm going to give you your debrief and we're going to go over why it fucked up.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because yeah, that's something that you can't really coach, or it's like people just got to get it. Like you got to be an action taker. Executive action is just like so important. And like, because yeah, a lot of people, they ask questions as just a way of avoiding action. That's really all a question is. They're like scared, like, oh, I needed permission. So you got to kind of train that out of people for sure.
That's a big thing. Yeah. I remember I was on a coaching call the other day and someone was like, oh yeah, like what do you think about batch creation? Like I'm thinking of like batching like a month's worth of content and then, I'm going to post it. And I was like, you're only asking me that question because you don't want to post tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, just post fucking day by day. Like, a lot of times people just ask questions that, again, they already know the answer to. It's like, and they're just avoiding action, exactly like you're saying.
One of the most interesting things I ever remember hearing is the only time you only ask questions that you don't want the answer to. And I was like, oh my God. The only questions you ask are ones you don't want answers to.
Yeah, because you haven't actually like found it out yourself or done. Yeah, I think it was Alexander Dumas, like the Three Musketeers, is like people only ask questions to not do what people said and then be able to blame them or something about that, like blaming. Because then then if you ask someone a question, then like they told you an answer and like, oh, well, this doesn't work. This is your fault now. It's like
it's like a lack of accountability.
You're outsourcing. You're outsourcing you're outsourcing responsibility.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly.
Like, oh, but this person said I should. Like, bro,
and so you need to make sure you're cutting those people out in the beginning too on the call with your content too. Like, need to not be letting those people in. So that's where we actually like literally we will charge people like almost twice as much if they haven't done anything before. Like they're like, hey, we need to have our Facebook ads going, and we don't have a single Facebook ads account. It's like, well, not only is it going to take me hours to like help you extra to do that, but also like you haven't done the work. Like that's not that hard. You should just do that. I just know it's going to be a lot more work working with you. So boom, price is like way more. So I don't know. Or the other example too I heard a while ago too is like no one wants to just like if you're just sitting on the side of the road with your car doing nothing, like no one's gonna help you. But if you start pushing that car, like everyone's gonna come help you push that car. So no one wants to help.
I like that.
That's really good. I like that a lot.
But everyone wants to help the person that's actually like trying, So
yeah.
We were talking about that with Sebastian on our last interview where it's like, all you have to do is just actually just take action, show that you're putting in real effort and you're really trying. And, from like a leader, coaches, consultant standpoint, it's like they're going to pour more into you. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's very like vice versa relationship.
Yeah. People can tell and if you need help, because like what we said earlier, like if people are calling you all the time, like, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Like if you actually need my help, I will be there for you. Like I remember like when I had to take calculus in college and I'm terrible at math. Like to this day, I got like a 70.1%, but it's because I went to the professor every single day after class and I was like in his office, like office hours, like every single day. So it's like, he can just see that like I was trying, like even though I probably should have failed that class, but like he's not going to fail someone who's like actually trying. And like, so it's just like, that's just really important.
100%.
Yeah. So, kind of coming more to the summary here. I guess what would you say is like the biggest biggest thing? It could be mindset or like an actual, system or something you've implemented specifically. What would you say is the biggest level up that you've had across the board since joining HighTicket.com?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, looking at it more as like a system too is like, because yeah, and just being in the business space for years now, it's like, yeah, a lot of times you get tied into like the micro. Who was saying the micro events, but like you guys look at it really good from a macro perspective. So yeah, it's like you need to do the daily little events, then looking at everything as a system. I really like those examples of like, okay, you just need to do these inputs, and like this is the system. It's gonna get these outputs. So like you guys like visualizing that for me has been really good. So now it's like I do a lot of the similar stuff. Like I still make sure I put out a video every single day, make sure I'm like helping my content, like doing stuff every single day. But yeah, it's just like has a lot more leverage now that, I don't know, the content's just a lot better. Everything's better. So I don't know if you want to ask it in a different
So,
way. I
so
can
more
probably
like the
better.
fact that you just even the perspective of the holistic view of the entire like machine is like, oh, like this is a system where I can control every single like micro piece.
Yeah, like going back to like the chef example, like yeah, now I'm able to look at it more from a macro perspective and just like be able to move the pieces a little bit better and like just yeah, leverage everything more. So
Mm.
that's been better. So
Yeah, I think now, especially too, at least from what I've noticed, is like now it's like a fucking business.
And
Like
now you
before,
got like employees now. Now it's
I
like a
got
machine you
lost
manage.
on operation.
yeah, and it becomes like your duty too. I realized that too about myself. It's like, okay, my job is not to be doing, like I was literally like cleaning roofs like up until like earlier this year. Like I was doing the roof cleaning, which is like I could be hiring someone to do that now. It's like now I owe it to people. Like now I have like 6 people that work for me. My my fiance, she just quit her job last week. Like now she works for me full time. Like she doesn't have a job anymore. So it's like that's really cool. And like, but yeah, people owe it to you. You owe it to the people around you to be successful and like help them, give them jobs, like give them places to work, give them that stability, especially if you're that type of person that's got the chinga, as they would say in like Spanish, like the balls, like the fucking
Yeah.
chingada, like I don't know how
Yeah, I
else
know
you
what
would
you
say.
mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Look,
yeah.
For
you're
sure,
into
man.
the
So,
Latinos too, man. So
um, so I guess last question would be you could if you could say anything to anyone who's considering joining highticket.com, what would you say?
yeah, I mean, don't show up if you're not ready to like. Yeah, if you listen to the end of this call, I mean, you probably got it. But like, if you're just like, I don't want to be crude, but like, yeah, if you're a pussy, like, don't. I mean, just but like, if you're about it, if you know you're about it, you can do the work. Like, I mean, it's a system, like, and it obviously works. So people like you guys, other people in the group that are obviously winning. So the system works. So if you know that you're someone who can make a system work, then duh, it's like, yeah, it's definitely. So
Oh yeah, man.
Well,
and yeah,
dude,
you guys have been awesome to work with. Like you guys, we can talk to you guys, and it's just been the support just great. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I definitely
likewise, bro.
appreciate being around you
Likewise,
guys. So
likewise. I think in the next, let's see, make a live prediction. I think in probably 6, maybe 7 months, we'll see you at 6-figure months.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, we got
you
a lot of
definitely
stuff in
can
the
do it,
works.
bro. You have it. Like you can do it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, literally seeing. I talked with another buddy in the space too, a different guy. I don't think you guys know him, but yeah, he was saying like, they're up at like 60K months, and like should have hit like another bigger month, but then like something fucked up. But like, it's like, dude, that guy's about to do like 100K, 200K in a month. Like, yeah, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm insert reason or excuse or whatever, but like absolutely. So yeah, no, we'll get there for sure. But yeah, I mean, That's cool too. But I mean, I'm also not. Yeah, we're not driven by the outcome as much. Like you guys train that really well. It's like, okay, as long as I'm doing the work, I enjoy every day. I really enjoy the work that I do. Like that's awesome. Like
HighTicketcom.
Not gonna lie
It's
as
awesome.
well. Another thing that really, I know we're at the end of the convo, but I just actually had an idea that I'm definitely gonna forget if I don't say it now. Is that you have a very interesting opportunity where, because you deal with people that understand like a lot of the physical business stuff and like online like internet money ops, is like it's just like a different world. The best next thing is like if you can start like compounding all the liquid cash and you start acquiring properties, and then once that gets rolling, you can like add in like a stack of your offer where it's like the full like home,
yeah,
you know what I mean, like that's a really good ecosystem where it all like works together, where it's like, oh yeah, first thing we do, we get your service business rolling, we get like we get you up to like 10, 20, 30, 40K a month, we optimize that, and then we start rolling it into real estate. Like that all works together really well.
I was thinking about that because you guys probably saw that guy who teaches like ATMs, like that shit. Like,
I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know what you're
but
talking about.
I was really thinking about that too. I was like, okay, how can I? Because yeah, it's like, okay, what would I do? Like, yeah, stack 5K. Like his plan, yeah, stack 5K, buy an ATM, buy 10 more. Then I was like, okay, I don't really want to do that. But yeah, real estate would be a good example. Like, okay, stack 10K, which anyone can do. Put that, use that for like whatever. And so we're actually literally just looking at a house this week. So
There you
we're
go.
trying to get it on contract with one of my buddies. So it's like, yeah, it's nice to have cash. Like who knew? Have liquid cash lying around. So it's
You
like
should
we
talk
can
to
put that to
Steven
work.
in the Slack. Steven Billman. He does like Airbnb. He has like funding hookups. You should talk to him.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, yeah, definitely
Yeah,
will.
that's another thing for anyone that's watching this. There's amazing hookups inside the mastermind community that you get access to.
He'll be in AZ too,
Yeah,
so you
you'll
can
meet
link
him in
with him.
Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, meetups and stuff too for sure. No, yeah, the AZ is gonna be dope. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be a good time. But yeah, probably
Yeah,
wrap
I think
there. That was really
we'll
good, dude. I
cut it
appreciate
here.
the time.
Yeah, yeah, not for sure, guys.